Alright, this is gonna be my new setup. It's kind of funny because I got the microphone and I don't have the connection to hook it up to the phone yet. So yeah, this is a work in progress, and yeah, this is gonna be my new setup for the time being. Who knows what the future holds for future setups. If I go back to old school, you know, just shooting myself wherever. I'm sure I'm still gonna make videos when I'm out and about in the wilderness and stuff like that. But what I wanted to talk about is the dating sites. I haven't really used it at all. I used to use them a lot. And I did fairly decent. I mean, it was kind of easy pickings because I went for single mom, so I did fairly well on the dating sites. Um, what I've noticed on the dating sites is they have become unusable, basically. Uh, it, I've even downloaded the Facebook dating site, and they haven't fixed it. I think they've made them intentionally unusable. I think this is all orchestrated. Um, so, like, when you use the Facebook dating, you say, I want between this and this range. Well, why am I getting matches or recommendations for people for like 500 miles away? And it's kind of consistent too, where they'll completely ignore you. I remember doing this test like a year or two ago, where they would intentionally try to recommend people who were over an hour away. And eventually it decided to show me some people in my area. I don't know if they turn it on, they turn it off. Less people are using it, or whatever. But it just was kind of weird to me how no matter what I did with like the distance, the age range, or anything like that, it always wanted to show me people who live like an hour or 2 hours away. It was completely unnecessary. I remember using Facebook, not Facebook, but MySpace. Like, I could find people. I could put in single. I could put in the how many miles away. I could even put in like whatever race I wanted to put in there. I could put like so many different things and search people and then just like message them. It was so much better than whatever the hell we have now. And then, if they didn't want to talk to me, they didn't want to talk to me, or I would add them as a friend or whatever. But like the way we have it set up now is it's just ridiculous, especially like when Facebook sits here and recommends me people, which they don't want you to friend request people that you don't know, but they recommend you these people that you don't even, like, I don't even know at all. I don't have any mutual friends with at all, but I'm recommended this person. I have no idea. They're just randomly throwing people out there that possibly live in my area. I don't understand what they're doing. Now I get it if we have mutual friends. I get it. When you see somebody that has like 3 mutual friends or something like that, and then they recommend you, that's understandable. But when it's like, I have no mutual friends, I don't even know who this person is, and you don't want me to sit here and add people I don't know. Like, what are you doing? Well, so what I think has happened, and why I think that this is all being orchestrated. I think that we live in a highly superficial society. I think that we're at the pinnacle, and we might still be going higher. when it comes to people just looking at surface level, when it comes to relationships with people. I think that we're close to the end of this crap, because at some point we're going to have economic turmoil coming up. What I also think that's happening too when it comes to, I think that a lot of people are being propped up by their families. There's a lot of people who don't feel like they have to go to work. They're having everything paid for by their families, and people are wondering why people that are like communists, because that's all they know when everything's taken care of for them. So what I think has happened is, which I don't even know if I can even touch on this subject, which is absolutely ridiculous. This is my channel, and I understand it's on YouTube, but like, even though I might be getting like 90 views or whatever, I'm still generating, traction for YouTube. I'm still generating, even though it's minimal, I'm still generating views. If people don't want to watch my content, they can block me or whatever, put in some type of algorithm that I don't show up. Put me at 18 and up. I should be able to talk about whatever I want, as long as I'm not like breaking the law. If I'm talking about something and it's like misinformation, that's free speech. Like you don't have to promote it. I'm not getting paid ad revenue. This is my channel. I should be able to put like, don't put no ads on this video. If somebody doesn't want to, like, it's just ridiculous how the whole thing is set up. It's all about money. It's not about creativity. It's not about any of this. I know I'm going off a tangent about different things, but back to the dating apps. I noticed a huge drop in, so I did pretty well in Michigan in about 2016 until 2017, up in there. I did well, before my ex-fiance. I did pretty well in 2010. I moved to Washington State. I did pretty well with internet dating for a few years, all the way up until 2020, 2021. Now, what happened in that time frame in 2020 and 2021? Well, people weren't allowed to go anywhere. There was lockdowns, even me, where I wanted to go out and meet women. When I went to dating sites, I wanted to meet the woman as quick as possible. I didn't want to beat around the bush. I wanted to get her out for a coffee and see where things went. Maybe she didn't like me. And the reason why I went for the coffee, you can say I'm cheap. Okay, I'm cheap, I'm poor, whatever, cool. But there's no obligations. There's no me feeling like I'm gonna be used for a food date if I took her out for dinner or lunch. And for the woman, she don't feel obligated. She can just leave at any time. I pay for her coffee. So what, $2, a couple bucks for her stupid little coffee, maybe $5, whatever. But I'm not out like $40. You know what I mean? So, and when you go on a dinner date with somebody you don't even know, it could be awkward. And you're sitting here waiting for your food, and it's like, you're kind of in the limbo of, well, are we going to, I don't really want to be here. I don't want to talk to this person. They kind of annoy me already. So they're a stranger. I'm eating dinner with a stranger. So I just always felt like the coffee date, or even going to the bar. I don't like going to the bar, but sometimes I would get a woman out to the bar and just get a drink. But what I like to do is go for a walk somewhere. I don't care if it's in a mall, in a park, whatever. At the time, I did, in Washington State, it's rainy a lot, so I would go to the mall and do stuff like that. Just walk around, just to interact and see if we can vibe well together. And for the notions of women that oh, I won't go out if it's just a coffee date or if you walk like a dog. Like, if you have that type of mindset, I don't want to talk to you anyway. I don't even know you. You're a stranger. You don't know me. So going for the park thing is kind of like that. That's why I always go for the coffee. You know, hey, you want to go for a walk go for a walk somewhere, whatever. But and then when it comes to the dating thing, you definitely want to. One of the coolest dates is I took a woman like 4 different places, and that's like 4 different dates all into one, and that's like the best way to go about things. So what I've noticed after post pandemic, I can say that, right? You gonna block me, YouTube, because I said that? Is there's a lot of less social interaction, not only in person but online. I was not the type of person that really liked to approach women that much. I've always had a little bit of like self-confidence, and that's just how it is. It doesn't matter what I do. It doesn't matter how good I make my body. I lack self-confidence, and for the most part, most people in reality, they're in relationships. So like, I basically didn't want to waste my time going up to all these people. It's not so much the rejection, it's just wasting my time going up and talking to this person, like trying to, so many people, like there's so many people who are just like not single. And especially after COVID. I remember, so I moved back to Michigan, which I did very well dating. And I hit up a lot of women that I used to hang out with. I want to, not just like a date or anything like that. It was women that like basically were kind of like, intimacy type of women, and they never hit me back. Like it was like one. It was one, and I did fairly well there. And I'm not trying to brag. I'm just using my experience. It's a huge scarcity, and I think that women don't even want to date anymore. I think that women don't even want relationships at this point. I think there's such a huge scarcity, and that's why I think that there is like, for me, I don't even care about red pill content. I don't care about, I used to like study red pill content. I used to listen to it all the time and wanted to learn, and I don't care anymore. The only person that I really like is Aaron Clarey, and I don't even really listen to him that much anymore. Because like, sure, you can spend your time, like somebody like me who's mid-40s. Yeah, I could spend all this time, trying to up my level, become a high value man. But by the time realistically I become a high value man, hypothetically, if I put in all this work, dude, I'm gonna be like 50, man, or I'm gonna be like 65. I'll be like, to get to the level that women would want me at this point in this reality right now, it'd probably take a good 20 years of solid hard work. And what's the payoff at the end? It's not really a big payoff. So there's not like a lot of incentive to want to even become a high value man anyway. It's like, you're already screwed. You can overcome it, but is it worth it? What am I gaining at the other side? Am I gaining some like high maintenance woman that only cares about me for my money anyway? And if it's only like a sophisticated, like a superficial type of interaction anyway, then why wouldn't I just go get a prostitute? You know what I mean? Like, if that's all it's gonna be, if it's only about her looks and it's only about my money, why don't I just get a prostitute and just cut all the crap out anyway? You know, like instead of spending all this time trying to work on my game or trying to work on my body, and it's like, yeah, I do want to be physically fit. I do want to be in decent shape. But, you know, this reality is highly depressing. There's lack of community, lack of respect. Like women are so unapproachable. They don't even want me to even talk. Dude, I walk up. I've worked on how I walk, my posture. I've worked on all of that crap. I walk, you know, confidently. And what I've noticed is the only women that I walk past that even give me eye contact or anything like that are older women, like not around my age. I have no problem dating women around my age or even a little bit older. But it's older ladies, like it's almost elderly women. That's the only women that even want to say hi. Okay, people can hate on me in the comments and say I'm some ugly dude, but I'm almost 6 foot tall. I'm not quite 6 foot tall. I'm almost 6 foot tall. I'm around 200 pounds, so I'm not like really skinny. You can say I'm hideous, I'm ugly, whatever. But what I've noticed is women around my age and younger, every time they walk past me, they look like they don't want to be talked to. They're always looking down at the ground. They're not looking at me. They're not looking like you're supposed to break down those what barriers? It should be easy. It shouldn't be hard to want to interact with somebody. Even just saying hi, how are you? It just seems like I've even for me, I'm to the point where I'll go out of my way if I see this is bad. I don't know if anyone else can relate to this, but when I see a woman coming, like walking in the same direction as me, especially if she's a young woman, I might even change past, not even like to even be by her, because I already know that she's gonna feel uncomfortable, and I don't want. It's like going to the gym. I remember going to the gym and like wanting to go work out at this plate, like do this machine or this whatever, this specific workout at this place where, you know, rows or whatever, I don't know. And there's a young woman there. That young woman wanted me to, it made me feel like I don't even want to go in that area. That's how I felt. You could say, oh, you're a weirdo, whatever, but like, dude, I don't want to be called a creep. I don't want to come off as a creep. I don't want anyone to feel uncomfortable. And I feel like women just feel uncomfortable around men nowadays. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me, and and mostly young women. And in fact, like I'm really turned off by young women. Like seriously, really, I don't really see much there anyway. I used to love young women. I mean, the guys, the Red Pill guys, Red Pill community always, you know, say how great young women are. Which yes, like they are the most fertile. Like they're they're the pinnacle of like how they look. But the young women today are just like very socially awkward. They have so many things going against them, and I think that a lot of that comes back to, you know, the root cause is weak fathers. Whether they're radical activists or they're overweight or like they want to all be girl bosses instead of like wives and mothers. There's always another one I'm always forgetting, but you get the gist of it, where they're not relationship material, and they might have an OnlyFans. You know what I mean? Like, who wants to have a relationship with a woman on OnlyFans? Like a serious one where you have kids, or you want to tie yourself financially to this person long term. Not a lot of people want to do that, but you know, we don't have a lot of options out here. So if I go out in reality, there's not much out there. It's just random people out here, which most women have a boyfriend, they have a husband. And in fact, I think that a lot of women are probably sharing the same guy. And I think that what happened with what happened with the pandemic is d- women had their guys that they were messing around with, and then they ended up clinging to those guys, and people are just by themselves now. And I think that this is orchestrated for us to be separated. We're being separated. I don't know if it's the elites, the who are trying to divide and conquer America, or if it's the algorithm. Maybe we already have artificial super intelligence. It's not out there yet for the public to know. I don't know. But what I do know is there's major problems, and if we keep on going down this track, we're gonna have massive problems where society is just, man, it's breaking down big time. Like there's not much, it's so weird about how there's information that could come out about people so quickly, and then there's information that doesn't come out quickly. Let's use the guy who tried to kill Trump and ended up getting killed himself. Well, we don't know anything about him, like what his motive was, and this is almost a year later. Why? And in fact, who's president right now? Why are they not coming out with this information? And that's kind of weird, isn't it? Like, there's all this information about this, like, and then there's certain people where like you know everything about this person, about about their personal life and their motives within 24 hours. It's like the shooter that just called, like, made a brush fire and then started shooting firemen in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, which I wanted to move to, which is a fantastic place. But it's like, we don't know anything about him. But if it was somebody else, like, it just, all this information comes out about him. It just feels like this is a fake. That everything seems so fake. You know what I mean? And that's why I feel like this could be a simulation. So, I don't know. It's really weird. It's really weird. Maybe it's because of the choices that we made that we've got here. And when it comes to the mainstream media, I think that they tell truths, but they tell half truths, where it deceives people. They intentionally try to deceive people because they're trying to push a narrative. Kind of like YouTube. Like, if you talk about a certain thing, they will ban you. Oh, it's misinformation. They don't want to ban. Like, dude, you're telling me I spent all this time trying to build my brand, then you nuke my brand. Like, I just think that, like, we can become more decentralized with technology, where, man, if I want to have like a main place that nobody can ban. This is my space where I can upload, and then I can use AI to distribute to all these different places. I know it sounds weird. Oh, that's like, AI is developing so quickly, so rapidly, where at some point AI will make up profiles automatically for us all on different sites, and it'll distribute things for us. So I want to have my main place where I can upload everything without having to worry about it being taken down and banned. If I have to pay for it out of my pocket, that's cool, because I'm paying for the storage of my content. And essentially, that's what you're doing with Facebook or YouTube. Is you they let it be free, but they use your information to make money off of your information. But it's essentially a storage, like, so. And I understand YouTube is, somewhat free, so I'm uploading here onto their to their thing, but like, we can do better. Like, we can do better. Like, the whole reason why YouTube is popular anyway is because it's supposed to be this is mine. If I have to pay a subscription to keep my stuff on the platform, I will, because I don't want it to be taken off. You know, like all my tweets on Twitter, like if I have to pay to keep it on there, I will. To keep it stored, to keep it on the date. I want me to live a long time. I wanna be able to, you know, maybe my stuff right now, it doesn't get many views. People don't relate to me most, you know. I did see a comment where somebody was talking about how they appreciate my content. I think that they appreciate my content because it's real. It's not scripted. You know, I go everything based off of whatever I'm thinking. It's more relatable than like me coming on here editing like the videos, putting all this crap in here. It's so like my videos are very authentic. They're raw. You know, some things I get wrong, some things I get right. There's no doubt about it. If I get something wrong, then put some type of community note on my video. I don't care. And then I can come back and be like, hey, that was wrong. Maybe I take down the video entirely. Maybe I cut that part out of my video. You know, I probably won't because I'm kind of lazy and I just don't feel like doing all that. But I want to be able to preserve whenever I pass away physically. You know, I'm middle age, so I got, I don't know, 40 years left if I'm lucky. If I'm lucky. in this world, it doesn't feel lucky to be living a long time. Just to be honest, it's repetitive. It's boring. I feel like reality is, for rich people, reality is probably pretty awesome. Like, you know, I know we're all like slaves to the dollar. If you're rich or you're poor, it doesn't matter, in between. But you have more access to cool things, to fun things, as opposed to, you know, basically just going to work and going home, and that's all you can really afford in this economy. I think, you know, I thought I was doing pretty solid for somebody my age. You know, I asked AI, I was like, how am I doing with my assets at my age? And I'm doing horrible. You know what? It was better than whatever I was doing a few years ago. I had nothing for my future. At least I might have a tiny bit, a speckle. But I'm just doing the best I can, man. Like, seriously, I'm doing the best I can. You know what's so weird about this society too? Like how it's become so superficial on both sides, whether it's the men and women. You know, we could sit here and complain about the women all day, but like the men too, like it's both sides that are just completely horrible in the society, whether it's women that only care about men because of how much money they have, or men only care about women because of how they look. It's both sides that are the problem. And I was a problem. I slept around with a lot of women. I was a problem. And, you know it's looked down on more for women to do that, but like I wasn't, even though like the women that I was doing that with were, single moms or whatever, and that's kind of a horrible thing to do that too. But it wasn't like it was somebody that was like completely innocent, like a 20-year-old virgin or something like that. You know what I mean? Or like I had like I was like the one that the 28-year-old virgin that I took on like 4 dates I was talking about earlier. Well, like I didn't want to go too far with that relationship because I didn't want to deflower her. she waited all this time, man. Like I didn't. That's I basically wanted to be around the women who already like felt like they're already ruined. You know what I mean? That's horrible to say, but like, cause I'm ruined, and that's why I don't expect much nowadays. But what I do feel bad is for the youth, the young men. I've already had my experiences, man. I feel pretty blessed to have had to. There's a lot of women, a lot of men that hasn't even like kissed a woman, let alone have any interaction. And what I think, and yesterday I was at the grocery store and I seen older parents with like, it looked like a 30-year-old woman. She had tattoos. She looked like a leftist. Um, and it looked weird. You know, it looked like it should have been like 20 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, where the parents were like 20 years younger and she was basically a teenager. But, you know, maybe that situation isn't what I think it was. Maybe she was just coming back into town. Maybe she's loaded. She's a girl boss. But I think there's a lot of women that rely on their parents to take care of them out here. And at some point, the older people are going to pass away. And there's not going to be any safety for these people that are completely relying on their parents. Dude, I can be gone tomorrow. I could be on the streets tomorrow, man. It can happen to anybody. I can lose my job. I can go right through all my assets and be homeless next year. Hell, all my assets can go to zero, and I could lose my job, and I could be out on my ass in a couple of months. It's quite possible. It can happen to anybody. I can get hurt. Can't go to work. I lose my job. I have no income. This can happen anytime. Like, there's like no safety nets for people. But I think that there's a lot of people that are having their lives propped up, whether it's men or women, by their parents. And soon the parents aren't going to be able to do it no more, whether they pass away or they just can't afford to do it anymore. People aren't, like, hypothetically, the situation I seen yesterday, that woman should be with a man like me. She shouldn't be, maybe she isn't, but that's the perception it looked like. She's probably living with her parents. She should be living with a man and him taking care of her while she's raising the baby. That's what should be happening. The housing crisis, why we have a housing crisis? Because there's so many people like me, so many single people, unmarried people. We don't have high trust society. Society is evaporating. And just because like I'm not Christian doesn't mean that I don't want to live in a Christian society. I think the Christian society is the best society to live in. And that's why I'm very conservative when it comes to money and family. Because I recognize the social patterns. Like there's so many reasons why we're at where we're at, and it's accelerating and getting worse. There's no incentives for guys to want to work hard anymore. There really isn't. Like, the incentives are women. Women have a delusion because they're being propped up by social media to get the validation which they would normally get from their husband. They just go on their phone, they get all these notifications, they get all these guys that are sitting here propping them up like they're famous. So they feel like they don't need a man, and if they want to get their physical needs taken care of, it's really easy for them to, like, it's not really hard for a woman to get her physical needs taken care of. She can even be overweight, older. Like, I hear all these guys, oh, like, nobody wants to be with older. Like, hey, listen, man. When you have a scarcity of young women, which not, here's another thing too. people aren't having kids, so there's going to be less and less women. This problem's going to get worse. Like this problem, what we're dealing with right now, is going to get even worse than it is right now here in America. Not only here in America, but it's everywhere. So you will see what you're going to see in the future, which people aren't. You're going to see people who are becoming probably more gay, who are going to be, which is like people, you do your thing, whatever. You're going to see the transsexual thing, like it's going to be less destigmatized, less taboo. You're going to see more guys who end up being with more guys. Like that's what you're going to see, because there's lack of women. So like they're just like, well, there's lack of women, so at least this person actually looks like a woman, even though that they're not. And you will see AI girlfriends, especially, because like, if you go onto your phone and you lie, and you can like sit here and FaceTime your AI girlfriend, who could be whatever you want her to be, and you could change whatever you want, be like this, be like that, and then like it's gonna get so good where that you'd be like, show me around your environment. So like it's gonna look realistic. It's gonna look like you're talking to a real person, and they're gonna show you their environment, and it's gonna be fake or whatever, but it's gonna look really, really cool. It could be animated if that's what you're into. It could be realistic. It could be whatever you want. It could be the furry if you want. And then like you're gonna be able to take it in your environment. And I know this sounds taboo right now, but you'll be able to show your environment to the AI, and it's gonna be able to like reciprocate to you like in real time. The OnlyFans girls can't. Like the whole texting thing. Like I think that like the texting thing is, it's useful. Like how I use AI, and I don't have like no AI girlfriend or nothing like that, but I'm really direct with AI. I don't treat it like a person. I treat it like what it's meant to be, a tool. But I don't say thank you. I don't say any of that crap. I just like boop 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 boop. I don't even worry about the spelling half the time. I like you figure it out. But like I use AI a ton. I use it more than Google now. I use it more than YouTube. Like the only reason I would use a YouTube to try to figure something out, I need a visual. AI is getting so good. Like it's getting so good. But yeah, you're gonna have your AI assistant, whatever the hell that is. And you're gonna be, and it's gonna be reacting to your environment. You're gonna react to its environment, and like I said, you could just hold your phone like this, or put it on a tripod or whatever, and it's like you sit here and watch a movie. That it's gonna get like that, and honestly, I know it sounds weird, but like there's no human interaction. It's becoming less and less. I mean, from what I've seen in my lifetime, human interaction has become less and less, and I come from a childhood of isolation, of always hanging out by myself in my room doing my own thing. I'm an introvert. I've been an introvert for like my whole life, and it's weird to see how everyone was an extrovert but me. I was a rarity. To see like so many people are introverts nowadays, and it's going to get more and more. But I think at some point in the future, I don't know when, people are going to get tired of the internet. People are going to get tired of like communicating online and not having like the physical reality, because what's the point of living if it's all digital? You want to have a balance. I think technology is great, but if my whole life like basically is just, whether you're a woman, on the internet and you just get your validation that way, or you're a dude and you just like, what is the term, gooning? You goon. You're gonna eventually want somebody in your life, whatever, you know. And I don't think that physical robots are gonna like do it for for that the physical robots where it'll be accessible to regular people, that'll replicate a relationship is so far down the road, unless we have artificial super intelligence that can just create everything like with the whim, where the robot's skin feels like my skin, you know what I mean? So, but like, yeah, we have less people and it's gonna get worse. Society, everybody's on edge. Like, so many people are on edge right now. People are just like, it's like people are past the edge. It's like we're at the point where I can't believe people aren't losing it more and more. You know, you see it right now. You just seen 2 politicians end up getting murdered in Minnesota a couple weeks ago, and nobody even cares about it anymore. You just seen these firefighters get lured in by a fire and then get, like, 2 of them were killed and 11 were hurt. Like, all the school shootings, there's no empathy with people no more. Because why don't they have empathy? Because they have less and less human interaction. And when people realize that other humans, like people don't view other humans, they don't view them very highly anymore. And I even see this with myself, having less empathy. You know, like, I'm on Twitter, you might see something I say on Twitter where I'm like, well, I don't make enough to be on Medicaid. I don't make enough to have health insurance, but I make too much to be on Medicaid, so I don't give a shit about all these people about to get kicked off of Medicaid. I do care. I don't want people to suffer or people to hurt, but it's like what? Dude, I'm out here working, man, and I can't even get health insurance, like, and I'm supposed to have empathy, like, but maybe I'm a rarity, you know. Maybe I'm just like, we're like the small one. Maybe everybody's rich and then everybody else is just poor, and I'm just like, what is rich anymore? Like, what is rich anymore? You know, like, it's all about perception of rich. You know, the billionaires, you know, millionaires are rich to me. People that make $100,000 a year are rich to me. Like, I only make 40, like, I'll probably make like 40 something thousand dollars this year. That ain't shit. I made $41,000 last year, and the average income, that's below poverty level. I think the average income is 65,000. So, you know, all this shit is unsustainable. We've had too much debt put on us. There's so much pressure put on the regular person, and people feel like they don't have a future, and they'll get to the point where they feel like they don't give a fuck. And what's crazy is these rich people, or these popular people on here, they're so insulated with reality, they don't know. They're ignorant. They're just out of touch, you know? They don't know what's happening on the ground level. They don't know what is building with people, their resentment. They think like everything's going good, kind of like the boomers feeling like they live in the 90s. Like, this is the 90s or the 80s for them, like, because they're in their little bubble. Like, everybody's in their little bubbles, and they don't see that there's going to be either a civil war or a revolution, or people are actually just going to want this to happen because they don't feel like there's any purpose. They don't feel like they have any purpose at their job. You know, like, for me, when I was young, yeah, I didn't have a father to go to work with and learn with him or anything like that. So I'm sitting here, like, for me, I've never cared about what I do for work. It's just like, I look at work as something that pays the bills. somebody the other day was like, hey, do you like, I don't like going to work. Like, if I like doing something, I'll either do it for free or I'll pay to do it. I have to go to work. And I don't know what the fuck I want to do for work. I don't know what I want to do when I grow up. And I'm grown up. Why is that? Well, because traditionally, the woman would stay at home with the kids and have kids. And the man would end up doing, like the boy would end up following in the father's footsteps. That's what traditionally happened until like this last 100 years, or it's just been a free for all. It's just like, dude, I don't know. I don't have a purpose. You know, I don't feel fulfilled when I go to work. I don't want to do it. Like, I have to go to work tonight. I don't want to do it. I do it because I have to pay bills. That's it. I don't do it because I feel fulfilled, because it's just like, if I went to the store and I felt like I had which I feel like I'm in a decent position compared to most Americans in my position. I feel like I am. But if I went to the store and it's like, I felt like it's okay if I waste food. It's okay if I don't eat all the food and save it for leftovers. I don't care. I don't feel like I'm in that position. I feel like a lot of people, and I don't think it's good to be in that position either. I felt like my whole life, my whole adult life, I felt like struggle, immense struggle. I have felt like I'm just getting by. I'm just paying my bills. I can't save nothing for my future. Now, some of that, a big portion of that, was having kids I couldn't afford, not developing skills. I think I've came a long way, considering I didn't have a father figure growing up, didn't have an example, didn't have a masculine example in my life. And I think that the next generations, hopefully they recognize the mistakes that the millennials, the Gen X, the boomers, even the Gen Z has made, and they think and they see that, and they have this information, and they decide to do the opposite. For me, I wanted my kids to have a father figure in their lives from birth until 18, and I was every single day. Almost every single day, except like when they were with their mom for like a month or something like that. But I was there. I had full custody. So, and it took a lot of hard work, even though I did it basically from when they were 7 and 5 all the way up until they were 18 by myself. I was still there. I still did it. I didn't have any, I didn't use welfare. Now, when they were little, when they first were born, I was using welfare, but I was still working. So it was going based off my income. But after, I got my stuff together, it was all me. I didn't get welfare. I didn't get child support. And I feel like pretty proud about that, but what is that? Most people don't care about that. I think it's admirable. That's just like what's looked at like as really cool nowadays is just superficial shit. I don't relate to this society at all. I don't care about superficial shit. I don't relate to basically anybody anymore. And that's why I, don't really have many friends in real life anymore. And I use the internet as basically like a friend. Like, I'm sure if somebody like listens to my content and they're like a regular, they listen to a lot, it's because they relate to me on a different level. Even if you don't agree with me, you still relate to me on some type of level. it almost feels kind of like a friendship, because you can message me, like make a comment, um, and I try to respond, especially the people that watch my channel. I try to respond to theirs, but it's a relatability. It almost feels like a friendship, even though it's artificial. But it feels like you get somebody, because what we're giving, in the real world, in reality, it's just a bunch of random people that have all these different things that they are into that don't relate to. And the only way you'll relate to them is basically going through struggle with them. That's why people in the military end up being like, they get so close together because they go through the crap together. That's why, like, co-workers, and that's why I think that's the new place. That's what I was thinking about doing, is getting a second job just to meet people. Just to meet people. Whether it's a fast food job, whether it's whatever, a couple hours a week, just to meet people, just to get out in the public. You know, like, it's not my primary place where I go for my primary income. I don't want to try to meet women there, but I think that's going to be the new dating going forward, is just people having that second job, that second service job, where they have the, you know, it's like, if I lose this job because this person feels like if I say something, then I don't care. I don't even have to go back. I don't even have to ever go back again. Like, whatever, I'll just quit. That's not my primary income. So yeah, I think this video is pretty long. But like, I'm gonna do more with this setup. This is just I didn't even get, like I said, I didn't even get the microphone set up yet. And yeah, I kind of wanted to, I'm gonna hang something up, and yeah, something different besides me just, you know, for like 2 years. Oh, the battery's 15%. For 2 years, I lived like the only place I had was my bed. That's it. That all those videos I've made with like on my bed, that's where I was. I didn't have a couch, none of that. Now I have that. I have a little bit of furniture. I didn't spend much, you know. I'm just like, I got stuff off of Amazon, because it's just like, I don't know the future. I would like to have better stuff, but like, I don't feel, you know, where I'm at, I'm renting. I don't have it's a 3-bedroom house. It's just me and my kids, so I just made this extra room into an office, or like basically like a mini studio. Because I was living in a 2-bedroom apartment with them. Didn't even really use the living room. And I was in my room a lot. So, well, basically, like, I treated my room like now I have a living room. I put my stuff out there, so when I want to go get entertained, when I'm playing a video game, I go into the living room, and I treat my bedroom as an actual bedroom instead of it just being like, it kind of feels like old school style instead of like new school, where it's like a pod. That's what it felt like, as a pod. I lived 2 years in a pod. That's why it felt like I was in a prison. If I didn't have to go and accumulate resources for a crappy apartment, doing things I didn't want to do, I probably would have been happier. I want to be more mobile. I want to feel like I don't want to use my car. I want to be able to be more free, where I can go different places for cheaply, man. I think that's where we need to get to, and that's why I'm rooting for AI. I'm rooting for AI because I don't want to drive no more. I don't like to drive. I don't like the way other people drive. And if we can have a bunch of robotic cars that drive themselves, and it's cheap. It's cheaper than owning a vehicle. I can, you know, go into a vehicle and commute 4 hours a day to work, and I wouldn't care because I'm basically sitting in a vehicle just relaxing or lounging, looking on my phone, whatever, maybe shooting a video. You know what I mean? Like, just driving, just looking at the road. Like, my commute is 45 minutes one way. So I'm just looking at the road, and it is brutal after my 12-hour shift in the morning. Tomorrow morning gets so brutal to have to drive almost an hour. But I'm thankful for where I'm at. I like the area I'm at. The house is cool. But I hate driving. Driving is just, it's a nuisance to me. Anyway, this video's long enough. Y'all take it easy.